Hi, everyone. Brilliant. Okay, so I'm sure there'll be a few folk that show up, but my commitment to you guys is let's get started. You're here, you're on time, and in the next 60 minutes or so, let's talk about how to grow your coaching business without selling your soul on the social media stuff. So I'd love to know, I mean, we're not small groups. I'd love to know just you guys, and also this is a network opportunity for you guys as well. So if we just go around the room quickly and just like in 2 minutes, just say, who you are and what you do. So that you guys can get some networking going as well.
I'm sorry.
So,
No. Steak? Yeah. Yeah.
there we go. Helen, you're off mute, so I'm going to just start with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. My name's Helen Potter. I'm speaking to you from rural Perthshire in Scotland, and I'm co-founder of a business called Eureka Europe, and we teach people how to innovate. We teach the only proven and evidence-based system for how to go about innovation.
Fantastic. I'm going to pop code to Jacqueline.
Good morning. I'm Jacqueline Myers, and I own a copywriting and marketing agency, and we focus on quiz funnel building, creation, and building.
Amazing. Let's go, Russell.
Hi, I'm Russell. I live here beside the mighty Mississippi in the heart of the Ozarks, and I help coach men career-driven men to stop sacrificing their souls and live a meaningful and inspired life. One of the things I do is I take them out backpacking in the Ozarks as part of one of my offerings.
Oh, amazing. Let's go, Angela.
Hello, everyone. I'm Angela. I'm from Johannesburg in South Africa.
Amazing.
So I run a business called Braintree Business Coaching. We focus on helping people to find courageous communication and leadership in business to heal economies, which we need a lot in Africa.
True that. Greta, you're just next on my screen here. Do you want to have a go? Just you're on mute.
Hello. Hi, everyone. I'm Greta. I'm Italian, and I'm a purpose and business coach. I help people uncover their purpose and build profitable businesses.
Amazing. Love that. Kevin. Yeah, you might be you're on mute, Kevin. Kevin sounded like there was something going on back there, so we'll circle back to him. And then Kim and Susan both are part of my team. Both I'm very proud to have them working with me. But if you guys want to just say 2 words and just say hi, you're welcome to.
Hi there. I'm in South Africa. So yeah, it was great. It was Angela. That's it. We're in that. So, yeah. Sorry. Hi there. You're right around the corner. I'm in Pretoria. So yeah, it's great working with John and with Kim, and I'm looking forward to the presentation today.
Hi everyone, I'm Kibi. I'm Joburg side, not Pretoria side, in South Africa, and been working with John for about 13 years, and also run my own digital marketing outsourcing company. I wouldn't call it an agency. That's me.
That's just because you're modest. And Adrian, do you want to just take two seconds and introduce yourself?
Hi. Thanks for having me along. 2
seconds.
Just interested in what you're going to say. So I'm sleep, snoring, sleep apnea. Man, that's me. So thank you.
Amazing. Great stuff. So yeah, just a bit of housekeeping. We're all working from home. I certainly am. So if there's any background noise or kids or things or cats that you have to deal with, then just go for it. You'll probably have heard my cat already shouting at me from behind the scenes. So yeah, that's just what it is. So with that, I'm just going to jump straight in. Oh, there's Kevin. Kevin's walking. Do
Yeah, that's part of my problem, John. If I'm
Amazing.
walking. Hey, I'm a friend of John's, Kimmy and Sue. We've been working together for 12, 13 months now. Growing gratitude globally is the work I do and the work they help me partner to do. And yeah, I certainly don't want to sell my soul to do it.
Amazing. Great stuff. All right, well, let's jump in. Can you guys see my screen okay? All right, fantastic. So I think I've got 90 minutes scheduled. I want to have like the content mostly done in about 60 minutes, and then just have time for Q&A and just really be of service as much as I can for you guys. There will be an opportunity to work with me if you want to, but that's 100% not mandatory. And hopefully that will become, the reasons why I think will become obvious as we go along. So my goal really is to help you. I mean, selfishly, my goal is to live my purpose, right? Is to, and I've been on this quest for quite some time, is to figure out, and my goal is to what I call weaponize the light bringers. So there's people out there that at some point in our lives wake up and go, you know what, there's something awesome in me, right? There's a reason that I'm here. And at some point you step up and say, I'm going to start hunting that down. I'm going to start stepping into that, and I'm going to stop living life reactively and actually start moving forward, actually start living life as a verb. So if that's you, my goal is to provide you with the tools and resources to be able to do that at scale, to do good and get paid. Some of my history, just go along here, multiple screens. So a little bit of my history. I mean, I've been an entrepreneur. I created my first business in 2000, so 21. So 21 years of doing business stuff. Like I said, always been like a truth seeker. I've been interested in what's, the first time I found out that we only use 10% of our brains, I was like, well, what's in the other 90%? What was in there? And it's led me to scratch that itch. So I've been, I've studied Kung Fu for many years, through there into the Eastern traditions of Qigong, Tai Chi, then also through Western sort of spiritual traditions of the Kabbalah, Western ceremonial magic. But ultimately always just looking for this, like what is that next level? What does it mean for us that we're alive in this place? What are we doing here? And what does it mean that we find ourselves alive in this place? Through that, be able to explore that in a lot of different areas. Fortunate to be married to my beautiful wife, Lauren, and to have two gorgeous cats. And that leaves me a lot of time now to continue to develop my passion about personal development. I'm continually wondering, how do we live as big a life as we can? How do we live life with no brakes on? So the specific areas that I'm focusing on are the two elements of spirituality and business, right? Because a lot of the way it's shown up in my life is that it's presented as a kind of either or. You either be a good person or you make money. And I don't buy that anymore, right? I think us as good people, we should make all the money, right? Because then, we're in control of that game, then that puts us in a position to be able to make a disproportionate amount of difference. So, part of my history, been running multiple businesses, worked with some really amazing people all over the world. And I've learned how to sell all kinds of weird and interesting stuff. But in parallel, also the spiritual quest of going, what does it mean? Why am I here? And over time, those two things have started to synthesize, right? The questions I've been asking myself on the business front and with my clients, things like, what is your unique value proposition? Who's your target market, right? Start to look very similar to the sort of spiritual type of questions, which is what is my unique gift? What is my purpose? Who am I here to serve? Who am I uniquely positioned to serve? So part of what I'm going to share with you guys is the latest of my thinking and the latest of what I've learned on this quest. And my intention is to share this so that you guys can go faster. All right, so a little bit about me. It's my latest business, The Lean Marketer. I help purpose-driven businesses go faster with multi-channel marketing. I've had the fortunate position of being able to spend many, many, many millions of pounds of other people's money trying to crack this marketing stuff. How do we sell stuff using the digital tools that we have? Created many marketing strategies all over the world, worked with close to 400 different businesses. Just a curious person. So I've been able to do a lot of different, work with a lot of different businesses, and also experiment with a lot of different ways of selling stuff. And what I'm going to share with you today is the result of the experience of my past mistakes and successes, but also my clients' past mistakes and successes. So I'm going to give you some of those things that I found didn't work, and then also going to build on some of the things that did work, and hopefully we can kind of accelerate this process and see how we can actually build this, help build a business that does good and makes money. Right, so here's the hard way. Here's the bits I don't recommend. Step number one is get stuck in your head with endless arguments about making money versus doing good, and go round and round in endless circles, and essentially self-sabotage yourself. Most of you guys in the positive development space will realize that you look in the mirror and you'll see your own worst enemy. And what I was looking for, that manifested in jumping from career to, from channel to channel, from target market to target market, and essentially getting stuck in the scarcity mindset of going, I need to learn more, I need to get more information, I need to learn more stuff, get another certification in order, and then I will be successful. That was kind of the story that I was telling myself. The other thing that doesn't work is hustle like crazy, what I call business development yo-yoing, where we go into this mode of going, oh, I need money, I need to get clients, and you market, sell, and then you have a whole bunch of clients, and then you go and you deliver, and then you start the whole process again. Okay. And essentially we're going round and round in this loop of not effectively building a business that lasts, because I didn't want to own a job, I wanted to build a business, right? The reason I got into digital marketing in the first place was to create a lifestyle, not to own a job, right? And so I don't recommend that. And the last thing that I also don't recommend is to try and do this alone, right? Being a entrepreneur and being a business owner puts you in the minority of the population to start off with. Right? Being on some kind of a spiritual path and trying to do good in the world and being an entrepreneur puts you in an even smaller path, subsection. And trying to do this alone, it was hard. So I won't talk too much about that, because I want to give you guys the opposite of that and some ideas about how we do this faster. Keeping an eye on the time, we're doing well. All right, so three secrets, 3 little perspectives I want to share with you guys to hopefully help you do this faster. So secret number 1 is do good and make money, right? And I'm going to show you a framework called what I call the infinite expansion game, right? And since this sort of landed in my head, I was like, okay, this can be a game and it can be fun. But also, spoiler alert, there's no finish line. Secret number 2 is I want to share with you what I think is the world's simplest marketing funnel. Right? How do we simplify all of the stuff, all the different moving parts into a simple system that doesn't take up all your time, but allows you to grow your business strategically? Okay. And then what I call the less marketing framework. And lastly, secret number 3 is how to go faster with a mastermind, how to go faster with a group. Sound good? Right, amazing, good stuff. Okay, so secret number 1, do good and make money. How do we do these things? Not so that it's a compromise, but in a way that they're actually catalytic. Right. So this is the ball of mud that we find ourselves on, planet Earth. Happy days. And I'm not sure where you are the first time you realized that you had some agency in this place. But for me, it was about 22 years old. And I got to work through curious a set of happy coincidences, got to spend some time with Oprah Winfrey. Right? How that all came to be is a story I'll tell you. I don't know. I'd love to spend the whole webinar talking about how that happened, but I got to spend essentially 2 weeks with her and her team in remote Africa doing this crazy project, and just watching the way she operates. Right, and it's this crazy situation, you know, having this very informal time, like you're at the buffet in the hotel, reaching for the last potato, and you see someone else is reaching for the potato too, and you see it's Oprah, right? And she's like, no, you have the potato, and I'm like, no, you have the last potato. And some of the things that she said just made me realize, like, that you don't that we're not here by accident. She said one of the things that's always stuck with me. She says that it's not. To whom much is given, much is expected, right? So, and it just kind of stuck with me that it's not, you know, you don't get more stuff and then have less responsibility. You get more stuff, you get more wealth, and you get more responsibility. Okay, but how do we get there? And how do we get started? It was sort of a seed that got planted. And it germinated into this idea that this, you know, this place that we live in isn't inherently good or bad. It's just here, right? Earth is just here, all right? And you can dig deep into all the spiritual stuff. They talk about the Earth School, but you also, if you look at physics, you've got this inextricable link of positive and negative, right? And if we find ourselves in a space that we're labeling, oh, this is a bad thing, we call it, we're having a bad time, okay? Bad things are happening to me. If you're in a space that you're labeling, hey, I'm having a good time, then we say, okay, cool, good things are happening to me. But the place that we live in, our lives, reality is not inherently good or bad, it's just here. Okay, so stick with me here. I'm getting quite woo-woo with this, but stick with me here. There is a payoff. Is that in any, I invite you to consider, right, that any bad thing that's happened to you has an equal and opposite positive benefit that may or may not have been acknowledged. Okay, so just work with me here. So this is the thing. So something bad happens, and I can kind of go backwards through.
Play by TS card. FM.
Maxwell, sounds like you've got some interesting stuff going on there. So I'm just going to mute you all. So these things show up in our lives and we call them problems, and we go, oh my God, I'm having bad things happening to me. And then work through it, learn, develop. And then at some point you realize that, oh, okay, good and bad, this particular bad thing that's happened to me is actually just an opportunity. There's an equal and opposite benefit to that. And you have this like, oh my God, panic followed by synthesis, right? Growth, new thing that's happened. Right? And you go, I've overcome this problem. There's this thing that's happened in my life. It's caused me some challenge. I've overcome it. And that allows you to go, next thing. But of course, you know, we can have enlightenment. The weird thing about enlightenment is it enables you to see the next problem, the next step on the ladder, and go, there's a bad thing, you know, a new bad thing that's happened. But of course, that's just the gateway to another level, right? So we're here going, oh my God, this isn't a particularly bad thing. But of course, that is the next level, next opportunity to be able to see it's the unmet or the unacknowledged benefit of the situation. And at that point, of course, we grow. And of course, enlightenment, but guess what happens? From there, you get to see the next level. And as far as I can understand, this process never really stops. And I'm sure you guys have experienced this at some point, right? You decide you want to open a business and you think this is going to be an amazing thing, right? You start opening the business and you immediately go, oh my God, this is not that easy. But then you get some skill and you realize that there's an opportunity to master some stuff, and then you get to the next level. Once you get to the next level, you learn about making money, you start to get some success. Guess what happens? The next level, taxes. Oh, we have to worry about taxes. You learn about that, master the taxes, and of course you get to the next level. Oh, now we have to deal with staff, right? And for every different level, there's always another level, right? So I don't think this process ever really stops. And we can take this, I'm talking specifically in the business context, but this happens in an emotional context, in your spiritual context, even in your physical context. right? You get good at a physical skill, you go, oh God, this really sucks. Your body acclimatizes to that. And of course, you're then able to get to the next level. So there's always another level to the game. And I said, as far as I don't think this process ever really stops. There's always another level to the game. But there's a couple of interesting things. So this is what I call the infinite expansion game, right? Where wherever you are, you want to be somewhere else. Okay. And I invite you to consider that if you get to the next place, it's going to be great. But once you get there, you're also going to want to be somewhere else. So there's always another level to this. But what does this have to do about marketing? What does this have to do about marketing, John? I hear you ask. Right, here's the answer. So whatever level, I invite you to consider that whatever level you're at right now, whatever challenge you're facing right now, there's a certain group of people on the planet, a statistically significant portion of the planet, right, that are looking up at you and going, how did you get there? They're looking for the thing you've just learned. Right, and whatever challenge you might be looking at right now, you might be looking at the next stage. And as an entrepreneur, I can almost guarantee you're probably looking at the next stage of growth at your business and going, oh my God, how do I solve this problem? And potentially you're here going, how do I grow my coaching business or my consulting business in such a way that I can get to the next level? All right, so you're looking at this challenge over here. There's a certain statistically significant portion of people down here who are looking at at their own challenge right now. And I invite you to consider that even though you might never solve your entire, your whole life might not ever be perfect, you are 100% capable for those statistically significant group of people to help them say that way, to say, this is the path I've just gone. Now, so this is sort of so wherever you're at right now, there's people that are looking to learn what you've just learned. Right. And to me, when you get underneath all the surface of this thing, when marketing works, that's ultimately what we're trying to do, is connect people that want to learn stuff from us is us to connect with those people that are uniquely positioned to learn that stuff from us. So there's many different people that are masculine energy coaches, business coaches, innovation coaches, but there's nobody that does it quite like you. And I invite you to consider that there's some people that are just going to get it in a way that get it the way that you do it, in a way that they'll never get it from anybody else. Right. So I think what this really lands, the whole game here in terms of how we grow this is not about convincing anyone to do anything, but finding those people that are that need what we have, that are already looking and are uniquely positioned to receive that. I just call it light. Because it's coming down from here, from wherever it comes from, but it's enabling us to get to the next level. And as we get to the next level, it enables us to shine a light for those that follow. And each time we hop up a level, we're able to shine the light for those that follow. And in the same way, we're also receiving that from other people. So if that is all true, and I'm not saying this is true, I'm just saying this is a useful way. I invite you to consider this is a frame for thinking about this. So if this is useful for you, I invite you to consider wherever you are in life, there's a certain percentage of population that desperately needs what you've just learned and are primed to receive it from you better than anybody else, right? Once you really get this, there's no competition, right? Because for those people, they're gonna resonate with you in a way that nobody else will, in the same way that you perhaps resonate with other people you've learned things from, right? You don't have to have your whole life sorted out to do this, because there's always another level. Right? You don't have to figure the whole game out. You just have to figure out what you've just learned and share it. Right? And the way to make money in this game is to help other people get to the next level. To the extent that you are able to help other people to the next level, you are rewarded with more resources in order to do the same. And I think once you get this, it's your duty to make loads of money. Because if the only way to make money is to help other people get to the level, then I think you should make loads of it. Is that landing for you? How does that feel? Okay, fantastic. I'm seeing some smiles, some nervous smiles, but amazing. All right, so this whole process is happening right now. This is the game as I understand it. I'm going to show up and be me. Some people are going to completely resonate with that, and other people are not. Totally fine. Amazing. All right, so if that's the kind of spiritual frame, that's like the big game that we're living in, how do we make this a little bit more practical? A few more people arriving. Amazing. All right. So secret number 2. If that's what the game is connecting with those people that are uniquely positioned to receive this from us, how do we practically get this done? And how do we grow our business, our impact business, our coaching business, according to these principles, in a way that enables us to deliver impact at greater and greater levels, while all the time commanding greater and greater resources to get this done? Okay, so let me share with you the world's greatest, simplest marketing system. So here's the problem. And chatting to some of you guys leading up to this, is that there's a great opportunity with digital marketing, but at the same time, there's also a kind of curse, right? Is that there's so much opportunity, but there is also loads and loads of complexity, because, and I've 20 years down this road thinking that the answer to making more money is to learn the next platform, the next technology. And the challenge with that is that there's always another thing to learn. The other challenge with that is that if you try and learn it from the blogosphere, it's completely uncontextualized, right? So, and it just sounds like, hey, you need to do you need to do 5 things to do today, or 20 things to do yesterday, or 15 things you should have done already. And the frame I thought about this is that what is the big game here is about, if there's people here and there's massive revenue over here, how do we cut through all of that as simply as possible? And it's throughput, it's moving people from left to right. That's how value is created. So in order to solve that, I'm gonna have you guys just have a think about, just in terms of wild success, okay, growing your business to the next level. How many clients do you actually need? Right? Have you considered it's not an infinite number? Okay, because when you think about what are you aiming at? I'm going to really just have you sit with that for a bit, because that's what we're solving for. If we're looking at the internet, the marketing mess as an equation, that's what what is success? How many clients do we actually need? I'm going to have that process for a bit. Because here's in terms of clients and getting clients and earning money, these are to my mind, the 3 levels to the game. I'm not sure where you guys are in your coaching journey, but I really wish someone would explain this to me when I got started, right? Is that you've got this first line over here is how much money you need to live in order to maintain homeostasis. Rent, salaries, software, whatever it is, all of that stuff. What is the money? Your business is successful. How much money do we need to maintain your standard of life? And I'll have you consider, if your business is not making that much money, you're in this place called scarcity. And I don't know about you guys, but I didn't like it being underneath here. And when you're in scarcity, we don't think clearly. We tend to do the latest and loudest, and we tend to do whatever it takes to get the hell out of scarcity. Abundance is the next level, where you're making more money than you need to live, and we've got spare income to start investing strategically in growth, right? And then the third level here, prosperity, is when you've built systems, processes, and a business is essentially to the point that even if you stop working, you can't go back here. Right, like that is locked down to the point that getting back to scarcity is not even an option. So if this is what success looks like, I think that's a pretty good definition of, that's certainly why I got into this game, is to live a life and create a business that would provide me a lifestyle, not a business that I was a slave to. And right, so if that's the game, how do we move? How do we do this as fast as possible, as quickly as possible? So this is the framework that I'm going to share with you guys. As because you have questions like, do I do a group coaching? Do I do, in terms of delivering that value, what are the different ways of doing it? You can do group to one, you can do one-to-one, we can do groups, you can do some kind of a hybrid, or you can start to develop online assets to be able to distribute your courses. And I think some of you guys already, doing various bits of this. So when we're getting started, and I think to me, this is the most sensible evolution, depending on where you are in this journey. But if we had to start from zero, if mission number one is get the hell above this line as fast as possible, how do we get from there to there as fast as possible? So that we're then investing spare money, building systems and processes to make that easier, and then from there move up to this level. So this is sort of the map. If we had to start here, one-to-one, solution-led, lots of money, where you're selling expensive stuff to small amounts of people and it's highly personalized. Over time, once you develop, you start seeing the patterns within that. That then gives us the frameworks to develop your group coaching program or your group process, and from there to start developing digital assets to create a hybrid or then a fully online process. As we're moving from there to there, what we're doing is increasing the volume and the number of people we're able to reach and decreasing the amount of time it takes us individually to be able to deliver this value. Make sense? As a roadmap? Questions about this? Amazing. Okay, so this is just the framework. I said, after working with the hundreds of coaches and businesses, this to me seems to be the common factor and the path of evolution. I have tried it. You can do with group coaching, start with group coaching, but what I found is building a whole bunch of stuff and hoping, building a process. I'll tell you what doesn't work, because I tried this as well, is build a big program and then try and sell it. Because we're not then sure of who it's for. And you spend a lot of time building something you might or might not know if people actually use. The opposite of that is to use a solution-led sales process to find out what is the units of value that your target market is looking for. Close that as a consultative service. Collect large amounts of money upfront. And this is assuming that you've got your sales processes on point. Right, so it's almost the first skill to learn is sales, right? How do we actually close a deal if you're in front of someone? You start with high-ticket solution-led processes, get the money, get paid to build whatever it is that we're going to build. And then once you've been paid to build the same thing multiple times, you then have all the raw materials to be able to build, to be able to transition into group coaching and then online. And of course, all the time we're doing this, we're building the assets that are going to be your lead magnets, your email sequences, essentially your marketing assets, but we've been paid to build them. Now, of course, this is different if you've been given millions of pounds of venture capital to get started, but I'm assuming that most of you guys in the coaching game, most of the time we're bootstrapping it. Okay, make sense? So I think if you take one thing away from this slide, it's build it, then sell it. It's sell it and then build it, don't build it, then sell it. Yeah, so if that's the game over here, in terms of building your marketing system, the thing that powers this whole mechanism that helps us to move up the game here is to have conversations with people that have problems and money. I'm going to say that again and just let that sit in. Let that sink in. It took me 15 years of figuring stuff out, 15 years of my wandering around in the dark. And it's really the whole game of making money is having conversations with people with problems and money. We all want to do good. We all want to make an impact. But I thought for a long time that I would help all the people that didn't have any money by trying to be one of them. Ineffective strategy. Okay, I don't recommend it. I suggest if we have, and I think we all have quite like philanthropic urges, is that we separate, we help people that have problems and money, make loads of money, and then go and use that money to go and help people that don't have any. Two separate missions. Trying to make money from people that don't have any is not a good plan. Right? Very frustrating, because you can build lots of great stuff, but they don't have any money. That's why they don't have any money. So Nothing wrong with them, they just don't have any money. And if we want to make money, people with problems on money. So this is the, in terms of you designing your marketing system, that's the only, that is what creates results, not activity. It's the intersection of activity and people with problems and money. If we try and sell stuff to people that don't have the problem that you solve, aren't interested in solving it, and don't have any money to pay you, no amount of marketing in the world is going to solve that problem. However, if we're communicating with people that already have the problem that you want to solve and have the money and the inclination to solve it, can you see that this is good, much more likely to result in a favorable outcome? Okay. So if we had to take all of the social media platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Clubhouse, I've settled on one, right? For me, when I answered the question, how many clients do I need? It's 10. Okay, on a one-to-one basis, I only work with 10 clients at any given time. I can make a pretty good living doing that. So when I'm looking at my marketing system, that's what I'm solving for, is how do I find 10 clients that I can actually help? So the reason I love LinkedIn so much is because if the job number one is finding out who you want to talk to, right? Your marketing pyramid, the base of that is who. Who is it that has the problem? LinkedIn has got by far the best targeting. Right? So if you want to go and find out, the managing director of a Fortune 500 company in the pharmaceutical space, you can find those people. If you want to go and find coaches, if you want to go and find, regardless of who you want to find, out of all the social media platforms, LinkedIn has got the best targeting. What it also has is the highest net worth per capita of any of the social networks. TikTok is the biggest social network right now in terms of monthly active users. They've just surpassed 1 billion. So if you want reach, I highly recommend you go and look at TikTok. Right. For myself, I like social media as a concept. I like it as an idea, but I personally am not all that excited about going on TikTok and doing little funky dances. I consider myself a digital marketing professional, but if I'm really honest, I don't actually like posting on social media. I find it cognitively very expensive, right? To go and create this persona and go and do this LinkedIn song and dance thing. And one of the things when I look at my avatars, the people that I want to help, generally they're impact professionals. They're people who they want to spend time helping people. They like being in a room full of other people that they can communicate with. This sort of setting is very comfortable. But all the other marketing stuff is just noise. Right? Don't particularly want to do social media stuff. And so when I looked at creating a marketing system, I wanted to create something that worked for me. So that whole process I'm telling you is literally like I'm doing that. I solved this problem for myself. When the first lockdown hit, I pretty much lost all my clients. My business went from 12, I had 12 clients at the time, all of them left. Right? So when I had to rebuild my business from zero, I looked at myself in the mirror and said, right, you're either a marketer or you're not. How are you going to solve this problem for yourself? And what I came up with was LinkedIn and webinars. That's how I like this. That's how I like to do. That's how I like to connect with people. High intensity, short bursts, and then I want to go take a nap. This endless posting stuff every day really didn't make a lot of sense for me. So I thought, when I started, this was close to 2 years ago, with this idea of LinkedIn and group calls. And I've been refining that process ever since. And LinkedIn, out of all of the different platforms, is the shortest route to start conversations with people that have the problems that I want to solve. Okay, so I want to just circle back, and hopefully you guys have been thinking about how many clients you actually want. Have you guys, if you got the number, you don't have to tell me, but you have an idea of what the number is. And you give you some maths here to just help thinking about it. It's like, firstly, is how much money do you want to make? Like, what is the next level for you? You don't have to tell me these numbers, but just have a think about it. Like, how much money do you want to make in terms of what's going to represent the next level for you? Then think about, what does your program cost? You know, your product, your service, and divide the program by the number of the money by the program price will give you the number of clients. Right? And then if we think about how many leads or how many conversations do you need in order to get one of those clients, we'll give you an idea of how many conversations or how many leads you need in order to smash that number. This is the maths portion of the presentation. Well, one of the maths portions of the presentation. Have you guys got that number? You don't have to be 100% accurate, but you can be, you know, an order of magnitude, right? So you might get a number that's maybe like 20 leads or 10 leads or something. It doesn't need to be, you know, it could be 20, could be 25, but it's probably not 2,000. That's what I mean by an order of magnitude. If you're selling, you know, you're selling pet insurance or something like that, you're probably going to need a few thousand leads a month in order for you to make money. Generally, we're selling, you know, high ticket consulting, knowledge work type of services. If any of you guys if you got the number, do any of you have the number that you'd like to share, just in terms of how many leads you actually need? Not so much. Okay, and honestly, some of this maths, if you haven't figured it out, I invite you to, you guys will get access to a recording of this, but I think that, you know, this is where this foundational work is the reason I have a business, right? It's because we generally don't do this sort of work by accident, but if you would like some help with this, happy to help you guys. Right, so have you got the number? Have you got an idea of the number? I'm going to assume you have an idea of the number. But for me, the number is 8. It's 2 conversations a week. Okay, 2 good conversations a week. Right. So now if we think about all of LinkedIn and all of the social media problems out there, all of the platforms out there, not everyone in the world is at the same level of detail that you guys are at. You know, not everybody out there, you know, if we think about those little people, if we go back from that slide, the people that are following up behind you, not all of those people are necessarily shopping at any given time. So if you had to look at the continuum, typically your target market will be experiencing some kind of pain or symptom of the problem that you solve. Right, so Helen, I know Helen's business quite well. So, you know, the problem that Helen solves is that businesses can't or don't innovate. Right? Maybe they want to innovate, but they don't know how to. They're not innovating. Helen, I'm articulating that correctly. They're ultimately they're not innovating. Right? That's the problem. And most of the time, the reason they're not innovating is because they don't know how to. They've read about it, but they don't know how to. And Helen has a scientific process to turn a business from not innovating to innovating. That's the problem. But out in the world, there's not enough people that are just going on Google and searching for innovation consultants. Right? If they were, great problem. So this is understanding of what is your the level of awareness of your target market. Are they pain aware? Not innovating could manifest in problems like decreasing profit share, no new markets being created, you know, decrease in profits, low employee engagement, you know, people leaving, people not making money, stuff breaking, no new stuff being created. So those are pains that could probably be, but they don't understand, often don't understand is what the underlying problem is. And this is where essentially we can help. So I invite you to consider that your marketing is kind of at the top of this level here. So pain aware or problem aware is where we want to intercept people and then take them on a journey to realize what the root cause is. And take them on a transition to being solution aware. What is the other side of that? Okay. solution seeking is a great place to intercept people. When they've started to realize what the solution is, and are actively seeking a solution, because this is where they're wanting to spend money. That is what then manifests in traffic, leads, and sales in your marketing system. But for us as coaches, we're generally selling something a little bit, it's not something you just take off the shelf, right? We're not selling black Nike running shoes, right? We're selling, masculine self-actualization, right? Or purpose-driven, business revenue creation. Right? It's not something that rolls off the tongue, and it's often not a simple category, which is why it makes sense to connect with people just before that level, so that we can take them on a journey here. And by the time they're into solution seeking mode, they're in conversation with us. So the question is, how do we connect with those people? How do we connect with those people and draw them into a space where we can have a conversation with them? And this is what I promised you guys is the world's simplest marketing model. Is what people would, it's very simply, you guys are in it, okay? All right. You got a connection request you got an invitation request either from me or via one of my connections that said, hey, do you want to come solve this problem? And you're in a room with me now. I'm going to share hopefully some valuable information. And then I'll put you at the end of the webinar, I'll give you an opportunity to say, hey, do you want to work with me? Yes or no? And if you think about this, this is literally 3 pieces of software, right? And I can't tell you how excited I am about this page, right? This is the thing when I first realized when LinkedIn created this event functionality, right, it absolutely blew my mind, because it means that you can connect with the highest network population, internet connected population on the planet, right? You can invite up to 1,000 first level connections per week at no cost, right? Now, LinkedIn advertising, I don't know if you guys have ever done any LinkedIn advertising, but like if you want to do any kind of LinkedIn advertising, a single click can cost up to £12. Right? So you're getting like 1,000, effectively 1,000 clicks a week free by just being able to invite your first level connections. Now, there's some other innovations and things that we worked out. One of the things is how do you handle the LinkedIn registration process? Because it's a little bit funky sometimes, where you click, you say invite, you can accept the invitation, but there's then this weird double opt-in that they invite you to. You say yes, but then nothing much happens, and then you need to register again. But what we found is that if you set it up as a company page, and you set your event up in a company page, you can connect it. It creates a form which you can connect into Zapier. And from Zapier is a codeless environment that you can connect it to all sorts of things. But the simplest, I'm getting ahead of myself here, but the simplest thing is that you can connect people, invite them to an event. If they RSVP, yes, you're in a room with people that have invited, that have said, hey, I have the problem that you're trying to solve. And you have the option to go and invite them to work with you. Like, that's it. No website, no ads, no complicated funnel software. And for people like us, like when this landed for me, I thought this is the best thing ever. Like, I have to tell people about this because it is so damn good. Anyway, so any questions about this? Because I'm aware I'm at this place now where like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen, but it doesn't always land. So I want to just stop here and say, do you guys have any questions about this? Philip, I see you off mute.
Yeah, I was just, thanks very much. I was just wanting to know, just curious, the N in the little red circle at the bottom with 95%, etc., going down to 0. What does that mean?
Ah, great question. it allows me to, see there's people been chatting to me as well. Apologize if I've just noticed that there's people chatting there. Excellent. So Simone, hi, no, good to see you, Simone. 5 leads a month. Last two is a bit hard. Jacqueline says 15, Simone says 20 leads. Amazing. All right. I'm just going to pull up, can I get geeky for a second? So this is from the software called Geru. And what it allows you to do is actually build a marketing funnel, build and simulate a marketing funnel. Right. So this is stuff I geek out about. Right? You can actually build out your marketing funnels. So what the yes and no is, you can basically create connections and simulate different parts of your marketing funnel. So that in that case, the N is people that don't do that particular thing. So can you guys see that okay? Amazing. All right. So what this is, that over there is a traffic source. So I can see this is 2,000 visitors. Because I found the optimal cadence for a LinkedIn event like this is 4 weeks. You spend the first 2 weeks inviting people, the next 2 weeks following up with people. And then, so that's your traffic source there. So this is the event registration process that goes on to yes. And if you say no, you could potentially, build an email sequence, for example. Connect that to an email sequence. From the email sequence, connect that to webinar replay, etc. So you can then have loads of fun building out your whole marketing sequence. So I can show you some that I've got really fancy and really complicated, but if I want to sell these services, then I build really, really complicated funnels. I'm happy to do that for you guys, but my intention today is to show you, after doing hundreds of these things, for the specific segment that you guys most likely occupy, which is selling high ticket business to business or consulting coachy type of stuff, you really don't need it. All of that stuff is a nice to have, but this is the smallest viable funnel. Is event, LinkedIn event, invitation into a live call, from there into a discovery call. And it really is that simple. So from a discovery call, so I've created this model. So this is 2,000 people, a 5% acceptance rate, and then a 5% live show up rate. And I'm seeing that to be around reasonably consistent. So I estimated there'd be about 20 people here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 13. And then this is what I love about this software. So I've projected two things. Cheers, Sarah. How are you guys doing? We've got 5 minutes. Well, 5 minutes of the content side. I did say 90 minutes. But what it allows you to do is then simulate. So what I've done is put in two different products. So there's two ways that you can work with me, essentially. There's a mastermind, which is an ongoing, monthly shared group environment, and then a done for you service, which is where we do all the stuff for you. So that's $12.50 a month. So you have two options, essentially. So now what we can do is simulate all of this. So I've done loads and loads of these simulations to find out how do we remove all the non-essential bits and still get to a six-figure business. And this is as simple as I can get it. Right? This really is. If I could get it more simple, I definitely will. But so that's what the reports look like. Now, if you do this once, you're probably not. It's not likely to change your life. If you do this every month for 12 months, this is what it looks like. Right, this is assuming two products. One is a £200 a month group program and a £1,000 a month done for you service. You guys can plug your own pricing into that. But that's what this looks like, is after 12 months, you break the $100,000 mark. So that was the scenario I wanted to build. What's the simplest way to reach 100,000 turnover? Now, this software works in dollars. I happen to charge in pounds, but you can put your own number in there. But but that honestly, like I'm hoping I can convey the stunning power of this simple system. Is that you can literally build, and if those are your products. Now, obviously, if your product costs a bit more, you might make a little bit more money. And it does make some assumptions about your sales percentages. But these assumptions are 5% of the 2,000 people that register, 5% that show up live, and 20% that migrate into a discovery call. Those are all very, very reasonable percentages. Things that you can add on to this would be things like having conversational outreach to the people that RSVP'd but didn't show up. There's a bunch of other, you can also add things like email follow-up sequences and all sorts of replays, webinar replays, all those sorts of things. The other thing I've also discovered is that of those 2,000 people that we invite, sure, 5% might show up, but there's another, I call them lurkers, right? That there's consistently people, when I do this on an ongoing basis, that show up in my world that I've never liked to post, they've never connected with me, they've never showed up anywhere, but suddenly just message me and say, I want to work with you. Right? Simply because I've been showing up consistently talking about the problems that these people have. Yeah. So when I say the world's simplest marketing funnel, like this is legitimately a $100,000 funnel right here. I mean, I could just stop there, right? I mean, that's it. This is what you came here for. It's that simple. And all of this thing, you don't need, for bonus points, what you can do is after each event, and honestly, if you do this 12 months, the effects compound. So for bonus points, you can do a post after the event and tag people in that have been to the event and say, hey, this is so amazing. Here's what I'm doing next week, next month. Those posts tend to get a few thousand engagements because it's going to be a bunch of people that you've already delivered a lot of value to. And that post gets so much more traction rather than posting, I'd rather have one post that gets me 10,000 views than do, 10 posts that each get me 100 views. If you're just doing organic posts. The webinars themselves and the questions that people ask inside webinars themselves make exceptional content. So instead of trying to, of guessing what I think my target market wants, I find it much easier and much more satisfying just to go, hey guys, I'm here to help you. What are your questions? I record the webinars and then just answer the questions, right? It's just cuts through all the noise. There's a whole discipline called lean startup, right? Where I've kind of taken a lot of these processes from, is instead of trying to figure out like what makes good content, just ask people who are your actual prospective customers what they're struggling with, and then solve it. That's simple. Cool. So the last thing I want to share with is how do we go faster? Because one of the key things with this model, so for bonus points, you've seen how this whole simulation, you can get to a 100,000 pound business with only 2,000 connections, right? So that's the front end of the funnel, 2,000 invitations. Is how do you go faster? If you need more than 1,000 connections a week, LinkedIn allows you to invite 1,000 first level connections to an event, but so can anybody else. Okay, so anyone else that RSVPs can also invite up to 1,000 first level connections. So if you want to get more than 1,000 connections a week, all you need is some allies, right? Other people that understand how the system works and are prepared to promote your event on your behalf. I mean, this works really well if you've got a 5-person sales team. It also works really well if you've got a 2-person founder, if you're more than one person in the organization. But having a group of allies that have an aligned purpose also makes this go massively faster. So that's secret number 3, is go faster with the mastermind. People getting stuck, especially in the personal development game. We want to grow, right? We want to get better. That's why we do what we do. But the weird thing is, when you start growing, growth is different, and the nervous system doesn't like it. Right? So we grow, we get better, we get some progress, and we generally encounter some kind of a trigger. The trigger causes panic, and then we react and we retreat back to safety. Now that trigger could be an environmental trigger. I mean, the first time I hit my first 10,000 pound month, I was like, yay, and then immediately panicked. So I'm like, how am I going to sustain this? And all sorts of head trash. that came up. Of course, you know, I have had to process that, but I've seen that consistently. There's even a word we've created for called a win hangover. Right? You know, you sign the biggest client, the biggest deal of your life, and immediately I don't know, to get that intellectually, you know, you should feel good, but there's then the fear, right? That goes, how am I going to deliver this? So one of the most effective ways of crossing the terror barrier is to do this in a group, where instead of having a situation where, you know, as entrepreneurs, we're often rushing into the unknown. That's what we do. And our friends, our family are like, no, don't do it, because they're worried for us. Okay. But it can feel a little bit constricting. But if we're doing this in a group with a bunch of other people that are all hunting down the same thing, you know, we're all going up, we're all trying to get to the next level, it creates positive peer pressure, right? That helps us go faster. Okay, so this is the offer, the one thing I would just, and this is what I've created. One of these things I created for myself with my co-founder Toby is a group of people that are all working collaboratively together to make this whole thing go faster. You know, we're hunting down what is this inner circle is, you know, whatever you call the universal unmanifest, whatever infinite potential looks like to you, wherever inspiration comes from. Let's go there. Let's find that juicy stuff, bring it down and spread it around. Let's do it in a space of other cool people, and empower and have a shared framework that allows us to do this faster together. Because this marketing system, you can build it yourself. You can 100% build it yourself. But as you've seen, if you have other allies that can help you cross-promote your events, you can even grow even faster. So, so this is what I created, the Connected Impact Mastermind, is a group of people that are all spiritual and business folk, right? So we're wanting to do good and make money. We all understand we have a shared technical framework to be able to do webinars and events just like this. And then also all the other training. I mean, hopefully I've given you at least an hour's worth of value in the time that you've been here, but there's so much stuff I still want to cover. How to run an ethical sales call, how to actually create your first webinar, like what, you know, how do you structure it? What do you put in the slides? How do you figure out what the title is? You know, how to grow your network? How do you strategically grow your LinkedIn network if you want to grow it faster? And then there's a whole bunch of tools and things that'll help you with this as well. If you want to bring in automation, if you want to learn things like Sales Navigator, if you want to understand conversational outreach, all of those things are also available as training modules within the system, because, you know, I want to help you guys grow faster. So that's the offer really that's on offer today. Is if you guys do want to go and you know, go on this journey with me, that's the offer. It works really well with coaches, super well with consultants. And even if you have multiple people in your team, there's an opportunity to do a bespoke solution for that as well. So the offer, the mastermind is £200 a month. There's no contracts, and that includes everything that we've spoken about so far. If you want to work with me one-to-one, price on application, we'll figure out where you are, where you want to be, and what specific combination of things that you might need in order to help you get from where you are to where you want to be. Whew. Okay. And that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. How to grow, hopefully what we've covered is how do you grow a consulting business without having to sell your soul on social media. Do you feel like we've covered that today?
Yeah, it was really interesting. I enjoyed that. Thank you, John. I thought there was I liked the funnel and the and I'm here because Helen's spoken highly.
You're Philip. Amazing.
Yeah, hi. And so yeah, no, there's really interesting. Lots of food for thought. Really great perspectives on you know your journey, but also lots of I guess connections to our own. And our own practice as well. So yeah, thank you.
Amazing. Thanks, Philippa. You're in Edinburgh, so I think we need to grab a coffee or something at some point.
Yeah, are you in this neck of the woods?
Yeah, I am indeed.
Great. No, super. Well, we can do that. With pleasure.
All right. Fantastic. Simone, I see you come on camera. You have a question?
Yes, I'm in Glasgow, by the way. Look, the sun's
amazing.
shining. In Glasgow, the sun always shines. Just kidding. Yes.
So you must be in marketing.
Yeah. That's some sun lamp you got there.
No, the marketing for Glasgow is, you're in Glasgow, so you can cultivate your internal sunshine. See, that would be the marketing strap for Glasgow. And when the global warming hits, you come here to breathe fresh air and have a duvet over you, So no. On another side, I've been looking at a Rainmaker program. Do you know that? Have you heard about the Rainmaker? No. So it kind of like looks a bit similar, but you're kind of like stuck in for a year, kind of like contract, similar prices, similar thing. But I quite like that you can do monthly drop-ins, which is amazing because this looks like it moves fairly quickly. And I'm like part-time. I don't need very many clients, but I need the right ones and the ones I want to work with as well. So that looks actually like quite a nice solution. So I'll look into it some more. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I'll follow up with you afterwards. I mean, you guys will get a message afterwards to say, hey, cool, here's the additional information. And Simone, when you asked the question about do you do blogs or SEO, all those sort of things. So I put that slide in there, especially for you, about all the things. Because I think, SEO, assuming people are searching for your specific thing, it can be very powerful. But I find often, when we do go into our niche, it's not that simple, like yoga, Glasgow, SEO, fine. Right? Yeah. That's fine. But my sense was that you're doing something a little bit more niche.
Also, like what my problem has been, and that's why Facebook doesn't work for me at all. My clients are already in overwhelm, so they don't actually want to have more bonuses. They don't want to have extras that are generic. They actually want to have the noise level turned down so they can feel themselves again. So it seems like everything I've learned about marketing is just really not for my client. And they're high earners and they just want bespoke solutions. They don't want to hang in masterminds or something like that, so, and they also don't hang on Facebook. Actually, very few of my clients actually are on Facebook. And if they are, I tell them to get off it, at least for the time we work with each other. So that was really helpful. Because I need a low noise kind of like way of showing what I do. Yeah. And do you think that an hour and a half, is that out of your experience kind of like the right time? Because I don't know if that's not a bit too long, maybe.
Cool. All right. Thanks, Angela. Thanks, Savannah. I'm just looking at the chat. Honestly, I'm experimenting. I'm always experimenting. I would normally have done an hour. And honestly, depending, when you say high ticket, how much is your how much does your thing cost?
Yeah, so I have a month's support and it's £3,998.
Perfect. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. Like I love high ticket and all the stuff that I learned about selling really expensive stuff is that, when you reach that abundance level, people at that level have money. What they don't have is time. They want to give you lots of money for not much of your time.
That's exactly. They want actually less. They want half-an-hour sessions with me, not hour sessions. So it's the opposite, and that's where I'm kind of like working now. We do two half-an-hour sessions in the week and bounce forwards and back some voice messages on WhatsApp. That's it. That's all they want. They want to check in the morning. They know what they do in the morning. They know what they do in the evening. They have little homeworks that are really clear and take minutes, and they're done via WhatsApp. So, and that seems to be kind of like what my clients need. And it does work. And it doesn't seem high ticket to them, which is very funny. So that kind of like was like a really surprise to me. It's just like, well, you pay for yourself. Like, this is like gold. It's like, okay, maybe I should put my prices up. I thought that was quite a lot of money where I came from teaching yoga for £50 an hour. But actually, when you're at that level, it's really not. It's like their sanity, and it beats going to the gym or kind of like doing other things, and they see it works. So
yeah, it honestly it blows my mind that you know, it's just like when you're getting started, increase your prices, just massively increase your prices to get started, because it doesn't matter what you're selling, you need to learn how to sell it.
But a very interesting thing is, so I have 4 millionaires and 1 billionaire I train. That are just my clients. I don't work any with anyone else at the moment. But they don't refer you on to their mates because you're their best kept secret. Because I thought, whereas they're really happy with me, surely they just say to whatever at the golf course, like, oh, you need to try that out. No, this is not how it goes. You are the best kept secret. You're their secret weapon. They do not share you, which I found really surprising, because where I worked before, it was all about like, tell your pals about me, and they did. So that's again a different, just different species.
Yeah, and I think, and that's why, you know, it all starts with understanding the target market. And I think, you know, that understanding people with problems and money, right? Because once you get that and you start fishing in that pool, everything else changes. Like how you market, how you position things changes completely. What I found, I mean, I'm working with a CEO coach in Silicon Valley. He charges $5,000 a month for 2 90-second sessions, 2 90-minute coaching sessions a month. And a lot of this process of, you know, work from, I mean, when I started working with him, he paid me $7,500 a month to figure all this stuff out. And we tried all sorts of different things. And what we found is that we did a lot of conversational outreach. We did a lot of different strategies. But what we're finding with this webinar process is that 1 or 2 people, you know, will show up. The people that show up, he almost always converts into clients. But a very common desire path is people will RSVP to get the recording, and then he'll follow up and offer them a 1-to-1 session. And that, you know, so that's how that works with him with High Ticket, where it's super easy for them to RSVP. They'll think, yeah, I'll get the recording, but then you're on their radar. And once you've got those people, you can then reverse engineer a personalized outreach for them. I spent a lot of time working out, and also spent a lot of money on coaching on what's called LinkedIn, what's called conversational outreach. Like, how do you actually, you know, talk to people on LinkedIn and then enable them to give you lots of money. And there's lots of research that goes into it. There's lots of looking at their past comments and all sorts of things. And then how do you show up in their world? How do we start talking to them? How do you transition them through different stages of the process? Building rapport, enabling them to open up a gap for you. This is where I am. This is where I want to be, positioning yourself in the gap. But all of that takes a lot of hassle if you're just doing it for strangers. But when I introduce this process into that, you've got the ability for people to raise their hand and say, yeah, cool. You know, here's a short list of somebody that raised their hand and said, yeah, I'm kind of interested in that. I'm interested in solving that problem. This process, you'll also get, you can connect this process to an email sequence. You have email addresses that you can follow up with. I personally don't bother because I just find that the response rates are super low. But you have the opportunity to then send a message to say, hey, you know, I noticed that this, and then do a very personalized follow-up if you want to do that. So that's the core of the marketing funnel. You can connect all sorts of stuff to it. But, you know, that system, yeah, it just makes me very happy. It doesn't work, like, it doesn't necessarily work on the first time you go. But hopefully I've shown you with that simulation is that you repeat the process each time. Your content gets better, your presentation gets sharper, you're getting better at understanding. I mean, even from today, I'll go back and listen to this recording and tweak it. But here's the other thing, right, is that once you've done the first one, immediately do it again. You know, what I recommend you don't do is don't do a different one every time. Do the same one, but make it better. Because it'll be slightly different people that show up every time. So it's like, you know, like, great artists don't make one song and then make up a new one every time. They make a great song and then play it many times. And every time you go, you know, you get the live performance, you get the polished performance. And that's, you know, you have your kind of signature solution. Kevin, do you want to speak into that? I see you finished your walk. All right, Kevin is the
Finish
master.
my walk. Speaking to what, John? The iterations and
Yes, because yeah, Kevin.
we've been working together a year now.
Yeah, just a year.
And yeah. So John, I think the one thing that I would add to what you've said is something you say to me a lot, how every time we do an event, what we do is we raise the floor that we're building on,
yeah.
right? I mean, we just add another layer and another layer. And if you're familiar with Dan Sullivan's concept, the gap in the game, this is beautifully illustrated because most of us, we see the gap between where we are and where we want to be, and we hardly ever pause to look back and see the gains we've made from where we started, right? And when I look back a year ago, where we were when we started, it's amazing. And John, I remember when we discovered this ability to have people invite 1,000 of their own connections. And I can tell you, I've done something in the last month alone that started to tap into this power of having people invite on my behalf because they believe in the cause. And so I believe we're at the point of exponential growth and impact. And I'll just say this, John, Kim, and Sue are an amazing team. And the comment I made a year ago, John, was I don't want to work with a marketer who puts up with me because they want my money. I want to work with a marketer that believes the cause that I'm serving, that they believe. And in my case, that's gratitude. And John, Kimmy, and Sue are all believers in gratitude. And I know that I'm here with a group of impact entrepreneurs. And I know that John wants to see what you do grow in the world. To have more of that. So if there's a specific question you want me to address, I'm happy to.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin, one of the things that I really appreciate about your approach is that, so we do a gratitude encounter. Yeah, we co-produce a gratitude encounter every 2 weeks, and it's the same thing. Doing one today, actually. And because he's doing it every 2 weeks, like that experience is so slick that when which was the 300-person event? That was PepsiCo.
Pfizer.
When Pfizer hired Kevin to run that experience for 300 people, he was able to just. I mean, Kevin's superpower is the ability to hold space. It's just unbelievable. His experiences are quite phenomenal.
Well, so when you mentioned PepsiCo, I remember a day that I WhatsApp called John because I'm in the States, John's in Europe. And I'm like, oh my gosh, John, all of this that we're doing is actually working. Because that day, inviting people to events, there was a woman who had registered for a gratitude encounter on Monday. And on Tuesday, she's emailing me saying, gosh, something got put on my calendar and I can't attend. I'm so sorry. Here's why I wanted to attend. So I'll just ask you the question. Could you do an event like this for our company? And then I scroll down and I'm like, it's PepsiCo. I mean, I'm like, right? One of the largest companies on the planet found me because she saw a LinkedIn event for a gratitude encounter, and that established that credibility. So I called John. John answered on the WhatsApp call. I'm like, John, it's working. I mean, it was just confirmation that this process that can seem so ethereal, it can seem so just gosh, we're just putting stuff out there, and are people really seeing it? Yes, they are. And yes, they respond. and it will work for you too.
Seem to have lost. I don't know if you can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Amazing. Good stuff. Simone, you have a question?
Yeah. So Kevin, I've just checked out your website. It looks great. So do you do website work as well, or do you just like, so when you do this 200-pound mentorship thing there, so what do you look at? Do you just look at the webinar, or do you look at how you communicate your message?
So the group process, £200 a month, basically includes a weekly networking event where it's a proper Napoleon Hill style mastermind where we all get together, we meditate, and then we connect to our purpose, what worked, what didn't work, and what we're looking for help with. Out of that, then all sorts of stuff shows up, and we as a community support each other. Every fortnight there's office hours, so we do group coaching on whatever you need help with. And then there's also a Thinkific training course that covers sales process, how to set up the LinkedIn event, all those things. And then you get sort of one-to-one mentoring as well. But that's designed to be a group process. And that's designed to be, as low cost as possible to have access to the largest amount of things. The one-to-one work, if you need something custom, myself, Kim, and Sue have done most things. We can then look at what does the rest of the system look like? What is your, your website, your email system, all the other things. Happy to look at for you, but that's not included in the 200. That's sort of price on application. Because it's just the same process, the evolution I've showed you guys is exactly what I've been doing. Is I worked all the stuff out, doing very bespoke solutions for all sorts of different companies. But then over time transitioned into coaches and consultants and did all kinds of very, bespoke things for them. But out of all of those, I've started to see what the patterns are. What are the reusable parts? What are the things that actually move the needle to enable you to get to go faster? So amazing. Guys, I can speak to you all day. I'm sensing that we've come to the conclusion of where we wanted to get to. I've got a couple things. If you do want to book some time with me, really the next thing to do, if you're interested in any of this stuff, is am I still sharing my screen? Is just book a discovery call with me. Let's have a chat and see where you are, where you want to be, and what the best route is forward for you. The way to do that is very simply, you just book some time in my diary. If you click on that link over there, what you'll do is get to, you'll see on our diary, just book an hour with me. Let's have a chat about where, what your specific needs are. And then we can give you, I can, help you decide what the best route is for you. I'll also follow up with an email, not an email, a LinkedIn message, because we're all on LinkedIn. And then I think we've got some special gifts for you as well, just because you guys showed up. And there's a couple of things. There's two assets we're working on. One is a list of connection request messages or connection request formats that we found are working really well right now. So if you do want to go and connect with people on LinkedIn, people often like, what do I put in the box? There's a couple of options on that. The other thing is, because I really want to make this as easy as possible, so I've actually put together the checklist of all the things to do. If you're going to run a webinar, these are all the things you need to do, like the sequence. So that even if you don't work with me, I want you to grow anyway. Obviously, if I can help you, that'll be great. But my intention is for you guys to grow. Go and make some money, do good, make money. If I can be of service, happy to do that. But I do what I teach, and I know that there's a certain number of people that will absolutely love working with me, and that's fine. And I'll do lots of cool stuff for that. But if if we're not in that little slipstream, that's also fine. I want you to grow anyway. So the way that works is, after the event, what I'll do is just do a LinkedIn post. I'll tag you in it, and then if you want the message, just ask for it. If you want those assets, just say yes, please, and I'll message them over to you. that is all really. So you guys are the guys that stay to the end. Any last questions? Anything I can clear up? Any way I can be of service? Yes, please. Someone says yes, please. All right, cool. Yes, please, for the bonuses. Amazing. Any last questions? I love hanging out with you guys. I just want to be respectful of your time. You guys have been great. So generous with your time. If there's any other things, any last questions I can answer for you. Otherwise, I will see you. Philip, I'll see you in person, but go invite people to the gratitude encounter. You can absolutely. Kevin, when is your gratitude encounter? It's like in a couple of hours, yeah?
Yeah, it's 2 hours from now. It starts 2 hours from now. It's a 60-minute guided, what we say, explore, express, experience gratitude in a community of people. And it's amazing because you'll show up to people you don't know and you'll leave with really good friends, because there's something about gratitude to connect people deeply, quickly. And so John, everybody's here is on LinkedIn, right? I mean, that's the one thing that brought us all here. So I will just drop in the LinkedIn event as the
yeah, go for it.
To show you that's the only place. I mean, I list them on my website, but the only place we really market them is this LinkedIn event. And so you will get to see and experience that. And it's now in the chat.
Amazing.
Thanks, Kevin.
Sure. Hope to see some of you there.
Amazing. And if anyone else has any bonuses they want to share with you guys, then, by all means, you're all here. This is a networking event for you too. So I like to exchange in abundance, because, once you start connecting with that cool thing that only you do, you realize there is no competition. So there's more than enough for everybody. So if there's anything you guys want to share, if there's any events or resources or things you guys want to share, by all means, drop it in the chat. And in the meantime, watch, observe your LinkedIn feed, follow Connected Impact for other events. There are the other people in the group, because it's a shared, community of other people that are also doing events. There's plenty of other people in the community that are doing events. There's one coming up on masculinity. There's one on Thursday about how to develop a community. So these are all other people that are in Connected Impact that are doing exactly this, because that's the whole point, right? Is share your stuff, create a community. So follow Connected Impact. You'll get to see some other people, other folks that are doing that. And there's Simone, Melt My Stress. Also a free discovery session. Fantastic. Who doesn't want to have less stress? So yeah, follow us for events, and watch out on your LinkedIn feed for future events. And if you're in any way moved to work with me, book a discovery call. But I'm already in chats with Helen and Dougie, and Philip, you're on my radar now. So we'll definitely make sure that we get you guys to grow innovation globally. Simone, love to have you in the group as well. And Jacqueline, I'll see you in a couple hours. Jacqueline is one of the Connected Impact Mastermind members, so she's going to see how, hopefully, how to do a webinar. Because I think it's important that when you're doing this stuff, you should be a product of the product. So yeah, weirdly, most digital marketers don't get digital marketing business from doing digital marketing. They get it from networking and sales. So, but I wanted to show you this stuff. This is how I actually grow my business, not what I actually do. So there's no pulling punches or any of that sort of stuff. Yeah. So amazing. Thank you all. It's been amazing spending time with you guys. I'll do this about once a month, and as I'm sure you'll see, every time it'll get a little bit sharper. Stay in my world if you want to find out any new and interesting stuff about this. Ask me any questions about growing, doing good, making money, delivering your gifts to the world. Totally up for that. And if there's any way I can help you, paid or unpaid, please let me know, and let us go and go and make some positive impact. So thank you, everybody. It's been great spending time with you, and I'll see you all very soon.